Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Between the Posts. I'm Chris Turner.
And I'm Jess Dombrowski. Nice to meet you again. Here we are.
Nice to meet you again, Jess.
Back in the seat, yeah.
How you doing today?
Good.
Tuesday going well for you?
I mean, it's a Tuesday. It's still early in the week. I'm still waiting for my Friday to come back up. But
There it is.
a couple more days and we'll be good to go. So yeah, no complaints here.
Lights almost at the end of the tunnel, even though we're at the beginning of the tunnel.
I know, and then the 2 days of home and then starts all over again. It's just
There it is.
loving that work life,
The
you know?
circle of life, as we like to say.
Literally.
But anyway, so we have a really cool show for you today. But first, before we get into all the rugby news that's going on in the States, a little bit of a somber moment last week that we like to reflect upon really quickly is that former Navy rugger Paul P.C. Hudson and his colleagues, who actually had flown over to Australia to help the bushfires over there, unfortunately and tragically lost their lives in a plane accident. And this is really tough because not only were they ruggers, but they're American. All of them were military servicemen and women. And it's just really sad to see, even though they're trying to help do their duty. And, that's what it's just all about, is just when not only we're having a problem, but other people are having problems, we go and help them and do the best that we can.
Yeah.
And just to give you a little bit of detail about this, it happened in Peakview, Australia. The 3 firefighters from the United States were unfortunately killed when a large plane carrying the fire retardant went down in the mountains south of Canberra near the Australian capital. Of course, our hearts are with all of those families that were affected by this devastating crash, and to the Navy community and to all the service communities out there, and to all the military first responder communities for what you do. We wouldn't be able to live the lives that we were able to live currently if you weren't there to be basically keeping us safe and putting those fires out in Australia and keeping Australians safe as well. So just wanted to kind of put that out there to the community, and even though it's very somber, just much respect out there to those, and hopefully everyone could come back safely, and that the fires will be extinguished soon.
And thank you to everyone that's been helping with all of that stuff, there and anywhere else with any volunteer work and just getting back out into the community. We really appreciate it. You're spreading the positive news and making good on the community aspect of the rugby relationships that we all have here. So pretty excited about that. So thank you.
Thank you. But again, our hearts go out to those affected, all those families. And I know thoughts and prayers are thrown around a lot, but this hits a little bit differently when it's closer to home, especially within the rugby community. But again, to those families out there, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. And this past weekend, we had both our men's and women's national sevens teams were in very high levels of competition over in Hamilton, New Zealand. Didn't come away with exactly the medal finish that we were all hoping for, but our women's team, we pulled out a 5th place finish after a pretty substantial victory over England in that final round, 45-5.
Wild.
So yeah, they got knocked out by Australia of the medal rounds, and I think they just kind of came back with that hunger for wanting something a little bit more. They knew that they wanted that next step, and they just kind of put the pedal to the metal and gassed it all the way across the line.
Indeed.
So,
I mean, and they had great starts to the tournament against Russia and then Brazil coming out with those dubs. But then, you run into a team like Australia
just
and you
stoic,
lose by 5 points, in that fashion. Obviously heartbreaking, but then coming back, against England and then putting up those kind of numbers is really special to see from the women, and that kind of fire that they have.
Oh yeah. Well, and kind of standout of the weekend almost. I mean, surprised to no one, Alev Kelter has just been slaying the competition. She scored in every single match that weekend. And do you want this next little stat? 19 of the 20 matches this year, almost.
That's incredible.
19 tries.
She scored in 19 of the 20 matches they played this year. That is absolutely insane.
How many people do you know can actually say that? Because I think the number is pretty low.
I think one so far. I think we know who it is.
Right. But yeah, I mean, super excited about that, and just to watch her continue go through it, and pretty excited going up this next weekend into Sydney.
Yeah, big time. And from the men's side of the things this weekend, I know a very unfortunate finish. one place below the women. So the men's finished sixth, losing in that fifth place match to Canada, our rivals. But we did claim 12 points toward the overall position. And of course, just a word from Mike Friday, the head coach, is that they were disappointed in their performance and they're deeply unhappy, as these are not the standards or behaviors that I want to be associated with, which is completely understandable. And I know they got taken a little bit off course through, the media, but that's just a competitor's mindset. It's like, of course you're not going to be satisfied with that type of performance. Like,
you're always ready for more.
Even if you finish second, you're probably going to go, yeah, we're not satisfied. Like, we want to finish first, which is, completely understandable. But at the same time, it was a tough weekend for the men.
Yeah.
But, Sydney's coming up 7 days later, so it's not like they have much time to think about it. They
that was
just
a quick in and out.
real quick. So, the boys and the women don't have too much time to think about it. Just, attack the next day and hopefully come out of Sydney with a couple medals. And I know, speaking of Sydney, we actually did pretty well last year, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking to keep on capitalizing off of that.
Yeah. So the women's currently fourth in the world right now in standings.
Only 16 points behind first place.
Which is nothing.
Yeah, that's a quick medal round this next time and keeping New Zealand at bay a little bit. That's the number one
as
per
well
usual.
as we as hope as we can.
Yeah.
But, so the women currently stand fourth, receiving bronze last year, which was amazing. Anytime you medal is just purely amazing.
Yeah.
And then the men's currently eighth. They silvered last year in Sydney. So there's some good juju going into this weekend. It's kind of one of those things where I'm sure as you as an athlete.
Yeah.
Like when you have good, if you play well at certain places, it's like already ingrained in your mind.
Yeah.
You're already feeling good about it, dusting the old cobwebs off, so to speak.
I would say definitely knowing where they were last year in this round and then knowing where they both finished this past weekend and how hungry they are to continue to move forward and up that ladder. I mean, they're going to be a force to reckon with out there. And I think that they're all just going to come out of the gate just like rabid animals out there, just trying to keep everybody out of their way. And you better
rabid eagles coming down from the sky and swooping up those medals.
Nice.
Yeah, right?
Hope we can find like a little like image to kind of put along with that. Just swoops across the screen.
And if I do find that, it'll be hilariously awful. So sorry.
Hey.
But anyway, So the times and the dates, we haven't had a press release for that yet, but that will be coming out on USA Rugby's website later this week. But where to watch on NBC Sports Gold Rugby Pass. And as I mentioned, all times will be posted later this week, so keep your eyes peeled for those.
Heck yeah.
So up next, we have a really cool guest on. He's actually our Senior Director of the Training and Education Department here at USA Rugby. His office is literally 50 feet that way. We just Usain bolted over to him.
Excuse me.
But without further ado, here's Jamie McGregor to talk about the National Development Tours that just happened in Portland and upcoming for future weekends.
Take a look. Jamie didn't know that it was video today, everybody.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jamie McGregor, the Senior Director of Training and Education Department here at USA Rugby. We were just going to talk a little bit about the NDT that happened in Portland in a little bit, and then maybe talk a little bit about the Chicago location upcoming this weekend.
Sure.
But being boots on the ground, what did you see in Portland? Who did you interact with? What was the overall kind of energy that you got from it?
Look, really, really positive, fantastic event. So this is now the second stop that we've had. So we had the first stop was in Oklahoma, which was held around a big player camp, and that went really well. This time we had about, I think the final numbers are between 70 to 80 people turn up in Portland across a whole range of different courses. So we had a coaching 300, a coaching 200, level 1 referee course, a CMO course, so coach of match official course. We had some people there for S&C as well. And then additionally, we had the 2 education tracks. So we had a coach education track and a referee education track just for continuing education. So not certification courses, but for just people that wanted to learn more. Right. So between all of those, and we had, the way we designed the schedule is we had little crossovers at different bits. So we had Rob Kane, the national female 15s coach, was there. Martha Daines was also running a female ID camp. Girls ID camp, which was great. So they interacted with all the participants as well. Rob ran a couple of sessions that ran across the people doing the certification courses. So they benefited from the fact that we're running this whole event at the same time. So look, absolutely great environment. Everyone was very positive. I think they felt that they got a lot of value running everything all in the one place, allowing them all to interact with each other, rather than just simply running, a 200 on its own or a, level 1 referee course on its own. So that's how things went down. It was really good.
Great. I mean, so this is a really cool thing for the public to be a part of. I don't know, we're going to have a lot of these upcoming locations throughout the rest of the spring, but the next big one's going to be in Chicago, Illinois.
Yes, so we've got Chicago this weekend, and similar slate of courses. So Rob Kane is going to be there again for his second in a row. So don't miss out on that if you're in the region. And there'll be a similar listing of courses as well. I think there's a 200, there's a 300, there's a level 1 referee course, as well as the continuing ed tracks. So another big weekend, and then I think there'll be another one in Las Vegas around the Las Vegas MLR weekend.
Yep.
Then we go to Atlanta. There'll be one in Atlanta, and then I think the next one after that will be around the LA Sevens. So there'll be those ones, the Vegas and the Atlanta ones won't have the same number of certification courses because obviously with all the games happening, you don't have
There's
time.
a lot of other stuff to do.
A lot of other stuff to do. So for those two events, it's going to be mostly the continuing education. So we're going to get some good guest speakers in, and in particular for the Vegas weekend, we get the coaches of all of the teams and the referees of the matches are going to come in and do some stuff in between those matches.
Hopefully that's before the matches, not after the matches.
Bit of both.
Oh no,
Yeah.
bit of both. A couple words.
No, that's half the fun, right?
Yeah.
You get the refs and the coaches in after the game. How good's that? That's
behind the scenes, really.
Hey, you got to have a little bit of fun with these things as well, right? So
Kinda hard not to.
yeah, that's going to be the plan. So that's what's coming up.
Wonderful. And I know from all of us, it's like we bow down to the training education department because you guys put so much tirelessly hours and dedicated manpower into it, and you along with Kenny and Carissa have just been an absolute all-star team.
They've done the lion's share of the work, and there's a lot of juggling going on with the number of people it takes to make events like this happen. Sometimes some things fall through the cracks here and there. But by and large, these events are really worthwhile. You get a fantastic bit of knowledge from them. And this is something that we're doing that we haven't really done before. So these continuing education tracks, they would not have existed previously.
Right.
So it's our opportunity to provide people who have already got their certification and want a little bit more knowledge, something that we haven't provided before. So, there's a bit of work that goes into it, and those guys are doing a great job.
Great. Well, for those the people who don't know, where can they go and sign up and register for these upcoming courses?
So go to the USA Rugby website. When you go to My Rugby and click on Training and Education, there's a big button there that says the National Development Tour, and that will take you straight to the page. It gives you a list of all of the locations, the stops, little pictures of the guest speakers, and you can click on a button there to register for either the continuing education or for any of the certification courses.
Awesome. Easy enough.
Done.
Looking forward to it.
We'll see you there.
Yeah. See
Bye.
you.
All right, so for our next segment, we're going to go into the youth and the high school age grades, which is a really, really cool tournament going down in Northern California over in Rancho Cordova. Shout out to the Sacramento crew. I've actually had the pleasure of playing in this tournament, which is like, again, not a bias that it's in here, but it's just a really cool story that so many teams and so many age grade levels are taking part of a massive tournament. Actually, this tournament, when I used to play, it was just over one weekend, Friday to Sunday.
Oh, wow, okay.
But now it's gotten so
It's grown.
big, it's actually split into 2 different weekends, and it's just absolutely massive. So it's called the NorCal Kickoff Tournament, or the KOT, for those of the people, the locals that are like, oh, where are you going this
The
weekend?
slang,
The
gotta
slang.
be on the inside.
Yeah, you got Hella and you got KOT for the NorCal.
Nice. Nice.
But this is the 36th annual kickoff tournament for the junior and high school rugby youth teams. Like I mentioned, taking place at Rancho Cordova. So the junior kickoff tournament, like I mentioned, has already taken place over the 25th of January, and then the senior kickoff tournament, which will be the high schools, like the varsity and JV levels, will be going down February 22nd and the 23rd at that same venue.
Yep.
But all the levels involved were both boys and girls. middle schools, U12, U10, U8, rookie rugby, JV, varsity, even co-ed teams were playing for like the younger ages too.
The non-contact.
And this literally goes from 7 in the morning to 7 at night.
It's just constant.
Every single day. I know the numbers, they're very big when it comes to the amount of teams and the clubs, and they come from SoCal, Arizona. Sometimes, we had a club from Utah come play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Oregon. So this is an absolute massive tournament within the sport of rugby and a very prominent state like California and NorCal. There goes my bias once again. but no, it's just a really cool thing to see around the nation, and hopefully a lot more clubs could get this idea and growing the sport and encapsulating all these different age grades, levels, both on the men's and women's side.
Yeah.
But did you ever participate in something like this growing
No,
up? Or?
Believe it or not, I didn't start playing rugby until my college career.
Oh, that's right.
Had a nice, very successful badminton career in high school, paired with some basketball and softball. So, 3-sport athlete right there.
Hey.
No, it's one of those things that I really wish that I could have gotten into. I mean, I work a lot with the local state organizations now and a lot of the administration. And one of the biggest things that I get from them is just how many opportunities there are for like some of these young kids to play. And I know that this KOT tournament is one of the more prominent and established venues that actually puts on these sorts of events for these people at this age. And I mean, hearing from how long ago was this? Like not even that you went to one of these.
Oh, I played when I was in high school, so that was 2004 would be my first year.
Okay, but even in the grand scheme of things, not that long of a span.
Right.
And to hear that it's grown from one weekend to two to having like this many people and this many teams, and like it's a well-known thing. I mean, I'm from Illinois and I had heard of it when I first started to play rugby too. So it's got the word out there, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. But no, I definitely never got the chance to play in one. Darn it anyway. Maybe could have made it to the big times.
But there's some volunteer opportunities for the future.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Anytime to go to California.
Anytime.
Of course,
yeah.
literally, sign me up.
Oh, yeah, January, Northern California in the Valley.
Yeah.
It's like a high of 44.
You know what? It's fine. I'll take what I can get. Any sort of sun, got to get off that little, winter pail a little bit. So, yeah, very excited about it. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, who comes out on top and just another well-run event. Yeah.
And shout out to the Sac Valley Rugby Foundation, who originally started this along with many individuals. And I know it's countless to name those individuals that I've actually had the pleasure of knowing and meeting over those years. But, so it's a really cool spectacle in the sport of rugby, especially at the younger ages, growing that into, growing that passion and, essentially planting the seed. Right.
You're putting them in that little funnel just to shoot them off into the trajectory of success in the rugby world.
Love it. So shout out to Sacramento. Shout out to Rancho Cordova for usually putting this on, which is as long as I've known, it's always been in that city. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for putting this on and continuing this tradition. It's awesome to see.
Keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Up to the next subject of the day. Really cool press release that's going out is the D1A, which is the men's elite and premiership in collegiate rugby, will be partnering with the D1 Elite, which is the women's premier competition of collegiate competition in the States. They're going to be partnering up for their playoffs. So this is a really cool opportunity, not only for both sports and both divisions to be broadcasted nationally by For the Fans Network. That's FTF HQ. But not only putting it on nationally broadcasted, but having the playoffs going down at the same venues and the same locations, and basically going arm in arm together into the future of just going, we are the premier competitions of college, and we're setting the stage for the future for men's and women's rugby side by side. So just give you a little bit more details about those dates and locations. So how it's going to be played out, actually. So for those of you who don't know, D1A is made up of 68 collegiate men's clubs, and D1 Elite is only made up of 4 women's collegiate clubs. So the women's semis, so that'll technically be all 4 teams will be playing the same time as the men's first round of playoffs. So that will go down April 11th at St. Mary's College in Moraga, California. And then the following 2 weekends from then, on April 25th, will be the women's final championship match, played on the same venue and the same weekend as the men's semifinals.
Right.
And that will take place at the Fortress Sports Complex in Obetz, Ohio. Really cool venue. I've actually got the chance to check it out on YouTube, and they kind of give like a nice little overview of the whole thing, which
cool.
actually we're going to plug in after this. But it's really cool to see, both leagues and both all clubs and all commissioners and all, basically boards come together and, kind of broadcast this and come together with a partnership, which is awesome for rugby in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going to be really cool going down April 11th and April 25th. Watch out for those on 11 Sports Network broadcasted, or For the Fans website, or download the app to watch all the games live. But yeah, so this is going to be really cool to see, and watch out for that. We're going to do a press release later in the year for that too.
Fortress Obets is our 50-acre, multimodal, 6,500-seat entertainment facility. So it'll host national, international, local athletic events. The turf field where the athletic events are held is a world-class field. There are only 3 in the United States that have the certifications that it does. Here you can play full-size international rugby, full-size lacrosse, field hockey, without changing the dimensions of the field. The Fortress building itself is meant to look somewhat like a castle, and in the courtyard we've installed field turf. It has 2 elevated bars. We have office space that we lease to professional sports teams. The brain of Fortress Obets is our operations center. So the operations center has the latest in video technology and sound technology, connections available for both introducing video and sound into the facility and taking video and sound for broadcast out of the facility. Fortress Obets is built to entertain, to encourage dreams, to encourage development. This at heart is a community facility. We want to make sure that the fans are having the best experience that they can have here at the Fortress.
All right, and next up on the list. So we kind of tell you guys all the time to go ahead and reach out to us if you have any questions, if you know of something cool going on, if you want to give a shout out to your team, a mentor, your coach. Literally, the sky's the limit. Reach out to us. We just want to hear from you. One trend that we've been noticing is we've had a lot of questions about people trying to go and play rugby in college, whether that's college scholarships where they can go and play for, established teams, something in their area. Just kind of, it's been a very ongoing theme. So we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information on that. So if you go to our website, usa.rugby, /college/scholarships, that's going to kind of give you all of the information that we've started to compile here and just kind of get that all in one spot for you. So, if you're a junior, senior in high school and you're already kind of thinking about college, as you should, thinking about maybe playing rugby, you also want to get a good education, kind of find the good happy medium between the two, go ahead and check out our website, and all of that information is going to be online there for you. And reach out to us if you have more questions. And again, that email is going to be podcast@usa.rugby.
And that goes straight to us, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we're the only ones that really see that. And
we don't have
check on it.
secretaries or anything crazy,
We are our own
unfortunately.
secretaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those questions will come directly to us, and we'll be actually directly contacting you right back and answering those on email and on air, just so we tie all loose ends together.
Yeah. But yeah, for anyone that's looking into that, whether you have a kid or a student or a player, or you are that kid, student, or player and you're looking into it, just sky's the limit. Don't sell yourself short. Everyone thinks that, oh, maybe I'm not good enough to do this, or maybe I don't have the time or the opportunity, but you don't know until you'll try, right?
Right.
I mean, you played in college, I played in college, and I wish I had played before that I knew I wanted to see if I could take rugby to the next level, and, this is your opportunity to do that, so get excited.
Check it out.
Hey.
A very interesting and funny breaking or developing story throughout story throughout the week is hilariously 2 women's amateur clubs have been going back and forth, have been going back and forth in a meme war, which is we're already cracking up because we've been looking at it and checking it out and actually seeing the interaction. But before we get into it, I need to give a quick shout out to the 2 clubs that are currently going back and forth on this. It's the Albuquerque Aardvarks and Tacoma Sirens women's rugby football clubs. So if you want to check out their Facebook pages, which we will definitely be putting the account handles at the bottom for you, please to go follow them, like them, and just check out what this meme war actually is going down. The originations of it are unknown to me. It's just really hit my radar recently, and just being sucked down the rabbit hole of just this back and forthness is hysterical on all levels.
Oh,
I mean, we're going to be throwing up, as we're talking about it, a few of those memes for your viewing right now. And as you can see, they're not ill-willed.
No.
They're not like taking weird, mean jabs at each other. It's completely fun.
It's all in good fun. It's camaraderie. It's
Right.
the 21st century, you know? Here we are, new decade. Everyone's scrolling through social media, and everyone's just like, you know what? We're going to just kind of poke fun a little bit. Just like slightly poke the bear, and then someone pokes you back, so then you return, and then it's just this whole, and then you have a meme war.
And then you have a meme war.
Like,
I love the title meme war.
I want a big graphic that has like the booming, like, meme war. Like, just drop it in there. Right? That's what I want. So if you can make that happen in the editing room, I'll appreciate it.
I'll try But no, like we mentioned, it's 10 out of 10 fun. It's A+ work. Excellent banter from both teams. Like we mentioned, not hurting feelings, but definitely feeling the burns on certain levels. So aloe vera is being passed back and forth in those locker rooms. But again, I feel like this was really important to bring up because this is such an integral part of our sport and why people kind of, you know, when they meet rugby players in, you know, public areas or bars or wherever it may be, it's like, oh, you're an interesting person, aren't you?
Wait a second.
Yeah. So it's just kind of understanding what the sport is, what the culture is, and I feel like just having this ability to come back and forth with completely good-hearted, spirited jokes.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what are some instances that, you know, maybe you've experienced in your rugby life, or like some things that you've seen or heard of that really ring true to this and that really mean well and like is a top thing for the sport?
You know, I can't think of any specific situations, but just kind of piggybacking off of that, I think the coolest thing about our sport is you're on the field and you're just literally like beating up on each other, like the trash talking, you know, whether it's a 0 or 100, like we all been on both sides of that coin. And then when you're off the field, then it's just like that nice camaraderie. And actually one thing just popped into my head. I remember I played a game in college one time, and I mean, I weigh like 135 pounds. I'm not a very big player. And I had this girl came up to me at the social afterwards, and she handed me $5. And I was like, why are you giving me $5? And she was like, well, you know, like, you kicked the crap out of me on the field, and like you hit me so hard, and like I stayed down for 20 seconds longer than like I probably should have, but the best part is you said I'm sorry and helped me up afterwards, so here's $5. And I was like, what? I was sitting there, I was like, I'm flummoxed right now. Why is someone giving me $5 for being a nice person? But like, not that that's anything close to a meme war, but I mean, it's all in good fun. You know, like it's good camaraderie, and it's getting to know each other. So I don't know, stuck in my head.
And that's hilarious. What'd you do with the $5? Do you remember?
I probably bought an adult beverage.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
She was over 21.
It's actually framed on my wall in my cubicle right now.
There it is. But no, you're right. It's a huge aspect of the camaraderie of the sport because, as we all know, of American football, once, you know, before the game, you're all angry at each other. During the game, you're all angry at each other. Then after the game, you're still angry at each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you may get like a high five, like a little pity high five
or like
here and there.
Shoulder shrug a little bit.
Shrug. But in rugby, it's like you don't really have ill will toward anyone unless it's between the whistles, right? So it's like during the 80 minutes, yes, you're being incredibly competitive.
Blinders on.
Blinders are on. Anything that it takes to win the game, yes, we understand. But as soon as the whistle blows, everyone kind of lets that guard down and goes, hey, buddy, like, how you doing? Or like,
oh, well done out there.
Well done out there.
You beat me.
And so that's why you always kind of go to your opposite number and kind of, you know, talk like a little bit. That little bit. Just nod, like, hey, let's talk about what happened a little bit. But it's all in good fun. And again, really cool thing just to bring up and talk about because, again, that's why one of the biggest reasons I fell in love with the sport was because of that, where it's like, oh, my God, it's so inclusive and it's so kind of like spanning across the entire world that I'm an American, that I could go to Russia and I could bump into a rugby player over there and there'll be like this cool like little banter and it'll be like an automatic friendship. So anyway, give a shout out again, Albuquerque Aardvarks. and the Tacoma Sirens.
Keep on doing what you're doing, folks.
A round of applause to you guys.
We appreciate you.
Hilarious, but keep on keeping on because that stuff is gold.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
All right, so for our last segment of the day, we have a couple questions that I've compiled that I think is kind of interesting.
And very important.
Or very important to think about.
Breaking stuff.
Not important. But just a couple would you rather questions, rugby related. Obviously, we're the only two talking, so you're just going to get two perspectives here.
Yep.
But if you have any perspectives of your own, please email us at podcast@usa.rugby. Would love to hear what you have to say or any which way you'd like to answer these yourselves just to get that perspective.
Or if you're inspired and have other questions of your own.
That too. Or if you just like to, have us talk about anything and everything. Again, podcast.
Send me pictures of your dogs, honestly. That's really all I really want.
Can we just have like a dog account?
I would love it so much.
We need to have a Between the Posts dog.
Dog of the week.
Dog of the week.
Send it in. You could be the first one. We'll give you a shout out.
Rugby dog of the week. We just created something incredibly special here.
Yes.
Anyways, so the three questions that we have today to pose is, Jess, I'd like to ask you the first one.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
Would you rather
Great.
be at the bottom of an intense 8-person ruck for 1 minute straight, or sprint at your top speed around the field for 5 minutes nonstop with no breaks?
Oh, God. Well, okay, obviously there's pros and cons to either way. My immediate reaction is the ruck, because 1 minute to 5 just seems easier. And I'm small, I can kind of maneuver myself under there, I'll not suffocate.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I'm sprinting for 5 minutes at my top speed is not going to stay my top speed. So by the end of that 5 minutes, I'll probably be at a walk for my top speed, which still sounds terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my initial gut reaction is going to say at the bottom of a ruck. I feel like
just to get it over and done with.
Just to get it over and done with, and if you're underneath 8 people in a ruck in a game,
and
you're not expected
you know what goes on.
I know, believe me, as a scrum half, you know as well as I know, some stuff goes on. But if you're in the ruck, then you're not expected to do anything outside of the ruck to handle the situation. So if I'm at the bottom of the ruck, I don't actually have to ruck.
You're just a participant.
I'm just
an unwilling participant.
I'm just the body at the bottom. I'm just sir, offside. I don't know what's happening. So I think that's what my gut says.
So you'd rather take the physical punishment rather than the conditioning aspect?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, that all day, every day.
I would actually do the exact opposite.
Oh, weird.
I don't know. I've been at a couple bottom rucks where I've gotten some, let's just say, bruises that have lasted more than a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just not fun because the next few weeks you're limping and you're continually icy hotting yourself, and it's and massage after massage.
Just put out of commission completely.
Yeah, not good. So I would honestly rather just do sprinting, because after that, yes, I'm going to probably throw up, but at the same time, I won't have a bruise that'll last 3 weeks that I'll have a limp from.
True, fair enough. Okay.
So yeah, that's my.
All right, so we're split 50-50. Send us your answers.
Send us your answers.
All right, next up on the list, Mr. Turner.
Yes, Ms. Dombrowski.
Would you rather wear a jersey that is 2 sizes too big or 2 sizes too small?
Easy. 2 sizes too small. Come on. I'm a schmedium guy.
Yeah, I would retweet that for sure. Ditto.
This is already kind of small for me anyway.
It's a nice little muscle tee. Been hitting the gym a little bit.
Yep. And as a 9, it's it's not going to get ripped because I'm a forward or any of that.
Someone's not going to just grab you and throw you somewhere.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I would 100% rather get a little a little bit sucked in from that jersey.
Look nice and fit for the team photo.
I'll get, of course, a little pooch at the bottom, but hey, that's okay.
We all got that.
But I'd rather not wear the bigger jersey just because it's easier to grab as well.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to run away, then I clearly have beaten them, but then they just get a couple fingers on it and pull me back in. Then I'll be kind of upset.
Then you got to get the horse collar.
Then you got to get the horse collar, and then it could get flung off you.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm in agreement with that one. Back
to you. You're in agreement?
I'm in agreement.
We actually agree on something? Yes.
Okay.
Just kidding. We agree on things all the time.
Moving on. Okay.
So the last question.
This one stresses me out.
Jessica, this is actually really intense. So if you could make a 22-meter drop goal, center of the post, not left or right, completely center, but at the 22-meter line, a drop goal, if your life depended on it, with no practice kicks or no warm-ups or stretches, could you make that kick?
Am I on turf or on grass? Ooh. This is why people don't like asking me these questions, because I always respond with a question. Wait a minute.
Let's say grass, because you kind of know how the ball is going to hit. While turf, it could bounce off in a weird way.
I practice on turf, so I'm more comfortable with turf.
Grass it is. So 22-meter drop goal, dead center, no warm-ups, no stretching, one kick, your life depended on it.
I want to say yes. Like, I'm going to give it like a 78.5% success rate.
Okay. But you think that one kick
I'm trying to imagine, like, you're like, okay, you make this, you can walk away, you're done, like, everything just goes black. And
Yeah. It's like the Avengers, you just kind of, like, float.
Oh my God.
You float away particles.
I'm even more emotionally charged. Thanos.
Yeah, it's no henchmen or gun or any kind of diabolical plan is involved. Just you
fizzle away
like in the Avengers.
I want to say yes, that I could do it. Yes. I'm not a kicker. I don't practice kicking as much as I would if I was a kicker, so that kind of falls in and of itself. But I've done enough in 7s and in 15s, like, and messing around in, like, college years that I think that I'd be able to do it. Mm-hmm. But I'm also like a 50-50 under pressure person. It either really bothers me or it doesn't bother me at all.
Gotcha.
So I don't know, but I'm gonna say yes, I could do it. What about you?
I'll go with you on that one. I'm gonna blindly be confident in this.
Okay.
Knowing that I'm also 50-50 at this kick.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a drop goal guy.
Yeah. They're so difficult.
I could maybe do one, but at the same time, if it's like
a slightly different bounce, so the wind picks up,
it's just
or the ball is slightly underflated.
I just because I don't want to waver in my confidence of like doubt. I feel like in that scenario, your confidence, like the fake it till you make it, will actually help a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you have like any doubts, you're gonna shank it. So I'll just be yes, I'm making it, and then if I float away in oblivion, I float away.
The way I think of it too is when like you're walking up to like lifts, you go up to like a heavy dead weight that you maybe haven't tried or it's like something you've struggled with. You're not supposed to go up and like stand and look at it and like take a couple breaths and like, all right, work yourself up and then go. You start behind, you're like 1, 2, up, doom, boom, boom. Like you get it done. So like that's what I'm anticipating. You're just like and go and done.
Yes,
like,
exactly robotic like that too.
Out.
Like there's no flair to it. Yeah,
no.
with the dab.
What?
And then watch as I kick it, dab, and then I start to float away. Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you. That was hilarious. So please, if you have any answers or you like to put your input or any questions yourself, we'd love to hear anything that you have to say. Please email us, podcast@usa.rugby. We'd love to hear it. But again, before we sign off, I also have some breaking news.
I wish I had like one of the like things or I don't know.
Oh, like the movie
sets?
Like
a movie thing. Yeah.
So breaking news, I won't make it too much of a spectacle, but coming out of retirement.
Woo!
What that means? Again, I wasn't a pro.
Bring out the trading cards, folks.
Yeah, never anything like that. I've never made an autograph in my life, but at the same time, I haven't played a legit game probably in 4 years due to injuries, surgeries, all that good stuff. But now I finally feel that, like, hey, you know what?
It's time.
I miss the game so much. I miss the camaraderie. And also, I just feel like
you're itching for it.
I'm itching to play again.
Yeah.
So, that's really cool. But thank you so much to the Denver Barbarians. And I talked to one of their officers, BT Shea, out there. Shout out, BT. Thank you so much for talking to me and kind of helping me throughout the process of regaining my rugby self, if you will. But first games don't start up until mid-March to let the snow thaw out and all that good stuff. But practice starts up in about 2-3 weeks. So very anxious, but very excited.
So what I will say for any of you that are watching, because one thing I've noticed in the rugby culture is everybody retires and then everybody unretires and then they retire again. So everyone has like 1 to 3 retirements. So if you're one of those players that has retired but then Control-Z undo retired, let us know your thoughts and any tips or tricks that you have for Chris coming back. Because, I'm excited to watch him kind of run around on the field.
I am too.
In his 2 sizes too small jersey and a drop kick for the win off the 22-meter line. But I'm ready for it. So
That's going to happen 100%.
Yeah.
First game.
Why not?
It's going to be a sprint down the sideline.
Yeah.
Immediate run out of gas. Impossible. Just fall to my face in exhaustion. Then I'm just going to kick, and it's going to be
And then we create a meme out of it. We add it to the meme war,
And
and
then,
then
throw
everything comes full circle.
Throw it to the yard barks to the sirens out there.
Yeah.
And then they'll just have their time with it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Cool.
my goodness. But yes, if you have any actual funny stories or cool unretirement or retirement stories, send it over to us and we'll give you a shout out. We just love to hear of anything you have to say or contributing to the sport, obviously. But yeah, really exciting. And I know that the Glendale, because Denver Barbarians is a D2 program for all of you who don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know that they might play the Glendale D2 in like an exhibition match this year.
Oh, wouldn't doubt it.
So
yeah.
we might actually be playing on the same field on the same day.
Yeah, back to back. So come out and watch us.
I feel like that should be like
Battle of the Nines.
Battle of the Nines, baby. No, but that's gonna be really fun.
We'll take a nice photo. We'll put it up and
There it
send
is.
out signed copies to our
Maybe even a live podcast after the game. Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay.
Whoa.
I see you. Cool. But yeah, we're very excited for Chris. I think he bought new boots and everything.
Yes,
so
I did.
he's like a kid on Christmas right now, getting ready to go back to practice. So.
Can't say the brand, but it's a very good boot. I trust it very much. But again, yeah. No, very excited though.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. And again, this actually leads right into the ending and the conclusion of the show with, if you want to play rugby or if you want to coach or if you want to help or do anything in the sport, please go check out the website. Check out the resources on the USA Rugby website. It's under Find a Club. Whether you want to play 15s, 7s, if you're a man or a woman, or if you want to play beach or touch or anything like that, please go check out the resources. Contact your local representative or local club and just get the ball rolling.
Literally
a pun intended almost.
Thank you.
There it is.
All right.
But yeah, so thank you so much, guys. Jess, if you have anything else to say,
Send us an email. Show me your dogs.
Yeah, please send us an email. We'd love your input, guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, thank you so much for joining us once again on Between the Posts podcast. I'm Chris Turner.
And I'm Jess Dombrowski. With a capital T.
The Jess Dombrowski.
And we will see you next week, folks. Bye.